Harry and Meghan Markle's surrogacy scandal has entered the mainstream media domain. Now, this story may have been somewhat overshadowed this week by the duplicitous duo's disgusting disaster tourism, but it really must be talked about. I've got Lady Colin Campbell with me. She has been completely responsible for exploding this story into the public's consciousness, and finally the MSM is starting to catch up. But before we get her verdict, let me take you through the story broken by Radar Online. And I have to give credit for Radar Online here. They are being brave because remember, the mainstream media all know about this. They just have decided not to talk about it. So Radar Online writes, Prince Harry and his clout-chasing wife Meghan Markle are being rocked by a surrogacy scandal, said sources, who added the diva's very own dad is casting doubt on the birth of the couple's son, Archie. Now, of course, that is as a result of the interview that Samantha Markle gave here on Outspoken, revealing Thomas Markle's true feelings about this. But Radar Online says that Buckingham Palace is being pressured to remove Prince Archie and Princess Elizabeth from the UK's royal line of succession until the Duchess provides absolute proof that she popped out both babies herself, Radar Online can reveal. Now, here's where it gets very significant, because a high-level palace courtier is quoted by Radar Online. Now, I want to read this out to you because it really is significant. So this high-level palace courtier tells Radar Online, this scandal comes as no surprise. Speculation about the children has been simmering for years. The kids are 6th and 7th in line to the throne, but have been under cloak and dagger secrecy since they were born. There are so many questions swirling around them. This crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth comes out. Wow. Lady Colin Campbell, look, I know this is only Radar Online at this point, and Radar Online have been very brave when it comes to reporting the truth about Prince Harry and Meghan in the mainstream media sphere. But this, to me, still feels significant. It still feels like a real push forward because, of course, for some time, you were the only person talking about the surrogacy scandal at all.
Dan, are you trying to put me in the line of fire, or are you praising me? I'm not sure whether this is...
You're off to the tower, Lady C. You're off to the tower. Well, look, Radar Online, in fairness, they do quote you and say Royal author Lady Colin Campbell recently challenged the conspiracy of silence and misinformation surrounding both tots.
Well, yes. I mean, Dan, you and I have spoken about this privately, so you know my sentiments on the matter. And also, I have been in touch over the years as a result of the public coming to me about this behind the scenes. And I need to be very careful how I put this and what I say, because I don't want to breach any protocols, let's put it that way. But I mean, this has been simmering behind the scenes for some time. And my own sentiment is very simple. The royal family owes it to the public of each and every country of which the king is monarch to clear up any doubts about anybody in the line of succession. Meghan's conduct is what has triggered all of this. Oh, Archie doing a deep dive between the knees. Archie competing with Tom Daley before he was even given birth to. Archie's unique qualities. And we need to remember that Archie was truly unique because his first word was crocodile. And Archie, of course, was the product of a union that maritally started when they were roasting chicken. And I leave it at that. But what I will go back to say, in terms without giving too much levity to their Harry and Meghan's really crazed behavior. And I do not, yes, Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing that that bump had more air in it than the fantasies that Meghan and Harry go around divesting themselves of in their 16 bathrooms? The fact of the matter is, from 1688 to the present, all royal births have been incontrovertibly correct. James II lost his throne as a result of the false rumors, incidentally, about the birth of his son and heir, James, Prince of Wales, who became James III, the king across the water. Ever since then, until 1936, all royal births had to be witnessed by the Home Secretary. After Princess Alexandra's birth, it was decided that the custom did not need to be continued because all royal births were still being witnessed by people who were incontrovertibly relied upon, and reputable. This did not happen with Archie or Lilibet's birth. The two births are shrouded in secrecy. The royal family has a duty actually, the monarch has a duty. It's not the royal family. It's the monarch has a duty to ensure that there is no doubt as to the entitlement of each person who is closely in the line of succession and would therefore stand a possibility, no matter how remote, of acceding to the throne. It doesn't matter if you're the 57th in line to the throne, but it certainly does if you're the 5th, 6th, or 7th in line to the throne. And this is all very simply cleared up, as I have made the point privately, officially behind the scenes. Simply provide irrefutable proof from the obstetricians, the way every other royal birth's proof has been provided to the public, that those children were born of Meghan's body and they were conceived of her body as well. Because until the law changes, if she used someone else's egg, even if she then housed it in her own body, those children are not entitled to be in the line of succession.
I want to just go back to, I mean, beautifully put, by the way, incredibly put. Could listen to you all day, but I just want to go back to the Radar Online report in regards to this, because they bring up a point which, again, we have discussed before, but I think this is now very important now that it's coming into the mainstream media. And it's about the fact that in Spare, Prince Harry crowed, "Within 2 hours of our son being born, we were back at Frogmore." And now I'm going to quote the courtier, and this is why this story is so significant, because it's a courtier speaking directly to Radar Online, who tells the publication that raised many eyebrows and questions. How many women give birth and are home in 2 hours? That didn't make sense unless Meghan didn't deliver the child herself. Now, I know obviously we've spoken in lots of detail, and remember, I reported it at the time and posed a whole load of questions about the mystery surrounding the birth. But the fact is, Lady C, this is elevated because this is a courtier raising those questions now in the American mainstream media.
Well, it suggests one of two things. Either Radar Online has made it up, which I'm not accusing them of doing, or the palace realizes that the time has come for the rumors to be put to bed one way or the other. And it is, this whole thing is an extremely serious matter. But what to me makes it truly offensive is the way Meghan has gone about flaunting this from the word go. Because if it was not a surrogate birth, the baby bump behaved in such an unconventional manner that she was orchestrating drama, which there was no need to do. And you then have to ask the question, why was she doing this? It's, I mean, I need to be careful what I say publicly, but my own feeling is until Meghan and Harry are able, actually not Meghan and Harry, until Buckingham Palace is able to provide us with the proof that those two children were born of Meghan's body and were her egg, they, I think, should be excluded from the line of succession. And it's really very simple.
Just the two children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet.
Well, who else would be excluded? No
well,
one else.
obviously, there are also questions about whether Harry should remain on the line of succession.
Well, Harry is legitimate. I know that to be a fact. Harry is definitely King Charles's son. And Harry therefore.
But what about if he's propagated this sort of lie? That doesn't matter when it comes to the line of succession.
At that point, if he has been collusive, he should be removed from the line of succession. And if he doesn't do it voluntarily, it should be done by Parliament. Because it would have to be done by Parliament.
It would have to be, wouldn't it? It would have to be, and King Charles would have to make that request. Now, look, in this Radar Online bombshell, Lady C, a royal insider also brings you into the equation. They're quoted as saying, Meghan must be furious. I can imagine her reaction, venting her anger and frustration over Lady C, threatening to sue and blaming Harry for not doing enough to protect their privacy. This scandal will stretch their marriage to the limit. It's already hanging by a thread. However, the courtier confided, Lady C is determined to get the truth. Meghan's nightmare isn't going away until she comes clean. So can I just clarify, Lady C, have you had any threats at all of legal action from the Sussexes at this point?
Not a word, but it is my belief that the phony GoFundMe, the phony GoFundMe account that was used, GoFundMe set it up. So somebody in GoFundMe was reached by someone, because these things don't happen out of nowhere, and set up a fake account in my name using my details, begging for donations to be handed to my bank account in Meghan's father's name, after I had closed down my account. And then Martin Robinson, who is the chief online reporter for the Mail, immediately found out about this. As soon as it happened, he found out about it. Before I knew about it, he found out about it and got in touch with my agent, David Samuel of ASM Talent, and wanted to speak to me about it. And that was the first time I knew that this account had been set up. I'm not stupid. I do not for 1 second believe that somebody at GoFundMe inadvertently set up that account. It's not possible to inadvertently set up a fake account. And I think that was an attempt by Harry and Meghan, or Meghan on her own, or somebody that closely affiliated with them, if it wasn't them themselves. That, in my opinion, this was a way to discredit me, because I had been receiving questions about the account, and that there were plans afoot to discredit me. And I thought, this is ludicrous. Who can discredit me? I have no skeletons in my closet. Nobody can discredit me. And I actually said it on television. When I was asked about it, I said, well, they can invent whatever they want. The fact of the matter is, nobody can discredit me because I have no secrets. I have no skeletons. So then within 2 or so weeks, they come up with this phony account. And I am being asked if I have siphoned off money into my pocket from the Thomas Markle appeal. I mean, the whole thing was so cack-handed, but it was typical of the Sussex squad and, quite frankly, the Sussexes' behavior, because they come up with cack-handed schemes. So I'm not saying that they personally did it, but my belief is that one or both of them, and I think it would have been her, would have been strongly motivated to try to silence me. But it hasn't worked. And the reason why it didn't work was that Martin Robinson was very correct. And he tried to corroborate the story. And so I was tipped off, Dan, in much the same way that Harry and Meghan were tipped off when you had to corroborate your son's story about Brexit. And that, just as how that tipped them off, and they then went hurtling down another avenue, I immediately was alerted to what was going on. So I have no doubt that if they could sue me, they would sue me. When they can't sue me, and if they try to sue me, I would see it through and see them in a court of law. I would love to get Meghan Markle and Harry in a witness box. I would love it. And remember, I'm very experienced. Meghan thinks that because she played a paralegal who couldn't pass her law exams, that she's a legal expert. I have 50 years of litigation against all 5 major newspaper companies in this country, as well as a litigant in person, the largest award ever awarded to a litigant in person against an insurance company, to my credit. I would love to see them in a court of law. So if they want to sue me, go right ahead, because I invite it, because I wouldn't be letting them get away with it. And I am not going to allow them to. I think their behavior is scandalous. And I'm sorry, I've had so many drug-addled people in my life. And my opinion is that Harry's demeanor, and Meghan's, incidentally, is of his admissions, their behavior is heavily influenced by drugs. And they don't like it, sue themselves, because they're the ones whose conduct is at, and they are the ones he's the one who's admitted he's drug-addled, and she is the one who, in Jamaica, when she was having her marriage with Trevor, she is the one who broke the law in Jamaica, even though it was strictly against the law, and distributed ganja reefers to everybody at her wedding. So I think
Bring it on.
Dealing with drug-addled people. That's my take on it.
But indeed, bring it on.
Natural.
Give me the popcorn. Come on, Harry and Meghan, bring it on. Let's take this to court. I couldn't agree more. Lady C, just before you go, I do want to ask you about this Instagram post that Meghan Markle made in tribute to her dog Guy. Now, of course, we're both animal lovers, Lady C, so we know that it is an absolute tragedy when you lose an animal like this. The issue with Meghan, though, is that her other animals she just discarded when she moved to the UK and then moved from Canada to Los Angeles. So that was very odd to me, number one. But lots of question marks about the timeline in terms of Guy. When did he die? Was she being honest about his injuries in her post? What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, Dan, I don't know if you've ever read Professor Marion Stout's book, The Sociopath Next Door.
No, I haven't.
She was I think she was a Harvard professor. Very good book. And she makes the point that one thing sociopaths will do is they'll have pets and they'll enact loving the pet. And as soon as it is inconvenient, they'll discard the pet. So, I mean, Meghan discarded one of her dogs, evidently on the basis of the fact that he was too old to travel, except he wasn't too old to travel. I mean, I've traveled with dogs that were far older than that. So that right there is a red flag. The dog broke both front legs. Well, I've had dogs for nearly 40 years as an adult, and as a child we had pets. I've never heard of a dog breaking both front legs, but let's leave that to one side. The fact of the matter is the cynical use of that dog, because she features that dog in her Netflix show. With love, Meghan, we're going to be family. I'm going to show you how to love your family because I'm so family orientated. I won't speak to my daddy except to write him nasty letters, and I won't have H do anything except give his daddy hard times. So the hypocrisy of it all, and quite frankly, her demeanor is not that of somebody who actually loves the dog. I mean, if you love a pet, would you be using it as cynically as Meghan has used? Well, possibly you would if you are a cynical opportunist. But the mere fact that she has behaved the way she has where that dog is concerned, it's almost as if she knew he was coming to the end of his life. Oh, well, in much the same way that she set her father up, remember, when she told Jason Knopf, I'm going to call him Dear Daddy because it's going to pull at heartstrings. She was obviously setting up the photo ops with the dog. And then the dog dies. Thank God. Oh, the dog's dead. Oh, I can use it. More marching. And then all of a sudden, she is announcing when she thinks the show is going to come about that the dog has died. Why didn't she simply put at the end of the first episode, in memoriam Guy, beloved pet, who passed away on October the 7th or whatever date it was.
Because that would have been classy and tasteful. And Meghan doesn't do classy and tasteful. But totally, that was absolutely the way that she could have done it. But as we've seen with her LA fires disaster tourism this week, it's simply not the playbook that she uses.
The headline immediately creates a sense of mystery and controversy by using emotionally charged phrases like "so many questions" and "Palace responds," encouraging audiences to believe there may be hidden information or unresolved concerns connected to the royal family. As always with stories like this, it is important to separate verified facts from internet speculation and sensational media framing because royal rumors often spread extremely quickly across social media platforms and entertainment news channels. The central claim in this story is that Buckingham Palace has somehow acknowledged or reacted to rumors involving Meghan Markle and allegations connected to surrogacy. At the same time, the headline suggests there are unanswered questions surrounding the situation, creating the impression that some kind of hidden truth may exist behind the scenes. However, one important thing viewers should notice immediately is that the title itself does not clearly explain what specific statement Buckingham Palace supposedly made or whether any official response actually confirmed the claims being discussed. That lack of clarity is very common in highly sensationalized royal media coverage because emotional curiosity often becomes more important than factual precision. Rumors involving Meghan Markle and surrogacy have circulated online for several years, especially across social media, celebrity gossip forums, and conspiracy-focused communities. These rumors are often based on speculative interpretations of public appearances, edited video clips, body language analysis, or internet theories that spread rapidly without verified evidence. Over time, repeated discussion of these theories has caused them to gain visibility online even though no publicly confirmed evidence has been presented proving the existence of a surrogacy scandal. This demonstrates how internet speculation can gradually evolve into a viral narrative that continues resurfacing through new videos, headlines, and commentary content. One reason stories like this attract so much attention is because they combine several emotionally powerful themes at once. The narrative includes mystery, secrecy, palace intrigue, family questions, and the suggestion that hidden information may exist behind official royal appearances and public announcements. When audiences hear phrases like Buckingham Palace responds for first time, they immediately become curious because the wording implies that something important or previously hidden may finally be acknowledged publicly. Even when the actual details remain vague, the emotional framing itself is often enough to generate major engagement online. At this stage, there is no publicly verified evidence proving claims of a surrogacy scandal involving Meghan Markle. What is publicly known is that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry announced the births of their children publicly and official royal birth announcements were released. At the same time, online speculation surrounding the topic has continued for years despite the absence of confirmed evidence supporting the allegations. Many stories involving this subject rely heavily on anonymous commentary, internet theories, or interpretation rather than direct documentation or official confirmation. That distinction is extremely important because repeated speculation can sometimes begin to feel factual simply because audiences encounter the same narrative over and over again online. Social media also plays a major role in amplifying stories like this. Digital platforms tend to reward emotionally charged content, controversial theories, and dramatic headlines because those stories generate strong reactions, comments, and debate. As a result, stories involving alleged palace secrets or hidden scandals often spread much faster than carefully sourced reporting or balanced analysis. Once a rumor becomes popular online, new videos and articles may continue repeating the same claims even when little or no new evidence exists. This creates a cycle where speculation repeatedly feeds further speculation. This situation also highlights why media literacy is becoming increasingly important in the digital age. When watching viral royal stories like this, viewers should ask whether direct evidence has been provided, whether official statements are being accurately represented, and whether the story relies more on speculation than confirmed reporting. It is also important to consider whether emotionally dramatic wording is being used primarily to increase clicks and audience engagement. These questions help separate factual reporting from entertainment-focused narratives driven by curiosity and controversy. Because in many cases, the emotional intensity of a headline becomes far more dramatic than the actual evidence behind the story. So while this viral narrative presents a dramatic picture involving Meghan Markle, Buckingham Palace, and long-running surrogacy rumors, much of the controversy appears driven by speculation and sensational media framing rather than publicly verified facts. As with many royal stories, the combination of mystery, family intrigue, emotional debate, and online fascination creates a powerful formula for viral engagement. And that is exactly why stories like this continue dominating social media feeds, entertainment headlines, and YouTube recommendations around the world. Thank you for watching, and be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below.